Hey everyone, just want to give you guys an update on some very interesting information I've come across recently in regards to this final experiment. Um, among one of these things I came across was three different whistleblowers, if you will, if that's what you want to call them, that were stationed in Antarctica for many months during the summer that had all stated that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica and that the sun sets every day in the summer um, while they were in Antarctica. So we got three different people that have come out and stated this, and we'll get to that later. Um, but we're also going to go over some of the previous fraud and scams, in regards to different trips that were planned by global propagandists to fly over Antarctica and try to prove the globe, and they end up basically just blowing up in their face, and nothing ever really came of them, and they never really gave an explanation for why they were canceled, and they basically just disappeared without any answers. So we're going to go over that too, but for those of you that aren't familiar with the final experiment, it is taking place at the Union Glacier Camp in Antarctica, and they are flying a couple of flat earthers and a couple of globers down there to witness the alleged 24-hour sun phenomenon. Um, I believe this is supposed to take place in December. So they haven't completely decided on who is going to be going there yet, but we're still kind of in the works with the planning on that. But if you guys haven't seen it already, there's already been fakery in Antarctica that we've discovered over the years, and we're going to go ahead and kind of cover some of that here in a minute. Some of the fakery that we've come across over the last 7 or 8 years is these faked 24-hour sun videos. We've discovered that there's many editing artifacts that prove without a shadow of doubt that these 24-hour sun videos are objectively edited and cropped and synced and faked. Now, what I find interesting about a lot of these 24-hour sun videos is the timing of them. None of these 24-hour sun videos even existed before 2015, 2016. And all of a sudden, when Flat Earth kind of came into the mainstream and became more controversial, that's when all of these 24-hour sun videos just started randomly popping up. And they were all proven faked. And it's like, why would you have, not just one, but, three or four different fake 24-hour sun videos? Like, if this 24-hour sun in Antarctica actually existed, there would be hundreds, if not thousands of videos of it, and there's none. But yet up north, there's hundreds of videos of it that are unedited up at the North Pole and the Arctic. So you kind of have to ask yourself about the timing of these videos and when they came out, and why is there not just one, but several faked videos of this down south? But it's not even just the 24-hour sun videos, it's also the South Pole webcam. They literally cut and edit the webcam footage. They cut 10 hours out of it every day, so the shadows will go halfway around these flags and it'll stop. It'll go 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 20. 8, 9, 10, 11, then 22. So they're cutting 10, 11 hours out of these webcams every day. And it's every day of every month of the entire year they're doing that. So you have to ask yourself, why? And even the reason they give doesn't make any sense, because that would also have to apply up north. They'd have the same issue with, the webcams up north, but they actually can track it every day up north and they don't have to edit the videos. So it just makes no sense with all of this fakery and fraud. But it doesn't even end there. We're also going to find out that they're faking flights over Antarctica.
Back in 2018, there was a website called www.overthepoles2018.com. I had to use the Wayback Machine to bring up the old website. Essentially, there was supposed to be a flight called the Polar Explorer that was going to circumnavigate the entire alleged globe Earth over both the North and South Poles. A genuine flight like that would be dispositive, as it was supposed to fly straight over the alleged geographic South Pole without turning around. Maybe you weren't around at that time, but all globe propagandists were very excited about this flight because this was going to end the flat Earth. In fact, there was one globe propagandist named Greater Sapien who purchased a ticket on the Polar Explorer. He seemingly used crowdfunding to raise the funds to purchase the ticket. This was certainly an exciting time for the globe propagandists. But there was one lowly, crazy flat earther, and maybe there were others, who didn't believe the claims of the Over the Poles website or the globe propagandists and called the Polar Explorer flight a scam. I actually forgot I made a video about it until I watched reruns of Globebusters the other day, and Bob actually reviewed my old video, which was lost with one of my prior YouTube channel terminations. For whatever reason, I find the Polar Explorer situation highly relevant today. Can you guess who was right? I mean, certainly a lowly flat earther wasn't right over all of those globe propagandists. Was the Polar Explorer a scam? Well, it turns out the flight was a scam, and everyone who purchased a ticket lost their money, including Greater Sapiens contributors. Are we witnessing a Greater Sapien 2.0? You be the judge. Enjoy.
Well, and a couple people did videos on this. Celebrate Truth did one, and so did Taboo Conspiracy. And Taboo Conspiracy, um, went on to elaborate even more how this thing was doomed from the get-go, and that it appears to be a scam. And that is that what he found is, according to the federal air regulations that are in effect for Antarctica, apparently there are limits to which that particular model of aircraft can go from any major airport, and I think it's something like 15 or 1600 miles, something like that. And which means that there's no way that they can get anywhere near the South Pole, or the Edmondson Scott Station. So all of this has been, and of course the FAA could waive those regulations, but I seriously doubt that they are, because we know that they're not going to go down there. But in case you guys have not heard about this, what everybody is talking about is this flight around the globe, the Polar Explorer flight. And it's at this website, overthepoles2018.com. And you can go there and look at it. And what we're looking at specifically here is the code of conduct that shows up down here. And it says Polar Explorer, is a celebration of commercial aviation and a homage to the achievements of Pan American Airways. The spirit of this flight is one of adventure, friendship, and shared goal of establishing a new aviation speed record. Yeah, right. Although the flight is open to all who wish to join in, it has come to our attention that some have expressed interest in using this flight to attempt to disprove or discredit scientific fact. You got that right, Slim. As the safety and the comfort of all passengers is our primary concern, we will not permit any scientific or experimental equipment of any kind on board the aircraft. Well, what about Greater Sapien, right? Greater Sapien basically crowdfunded from all of his viewers. And by the way, this has been known for quite some time, because, like I said, I mentioned this well over a month ago on Globebusters when I first found out about it. And apparently it's been in this, on the web page itself. So either Greater Sapien read this and is aware of it and is going to claim that, he went around the world anyway, or he didn't do his research, which of course is also pretty normal, I think, for him, and is going to go take this flight, with $20,000 of his subscribers' hard-earned money, and he's going to come back with no proof whatsoever other than what they tell him. And at that, I'm just going to have to laugh. So you got to wonder, what is he going to do, when he gets back from this trip? It's interesting because when you go further into the fine print, as Taboo Conspiracy does, he finds out that they can change the route at any time. They say, well, if we don't make it, we'll give you back your money unless we can come up with an alternate route. Now, they're not saying alternate route to what, they're just saying alternate route. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, well, safety conditions prohibit us from doing this or whatever, or this country won't allow us to do it. So we're just going to go almost to the South Pole, but not really, and we're going to skirt it. This would be my guess as to what they're going to do, because it's all set up in the fine print, essentially, which is pretty amazing. So you have that. You have the fact that the applicable flight regulations do not even allow that particular type of aircraft to be even any further away than, like, I believe 1,800 miles. I can hardly wait to see exactly how Greater Sapien is going to handle this. Is he going to punt his ticket and refund his money, or is he going to just go ahead and take this ride on everybody else's nickel, and where ultimately all he's going to be able to do is take their word for where they're telling them they are, right? So it just absolutely floors me that that this is even happening like this. So it's going to be a fraud.
Yeah.
And what about all these, propagandists kept saying they're going to fly an airplane across Antarctica? What happened to that guy? We always get these. And remember that one guy that stole all everybody's money with that Antarctic flight?
Man.
It got canceled as well. And of course the propagandists don't come out and go, well, that's really strange that they would do that. They don't ever question. It's like, that's perfectly normal.
I remember, that guy, I forgot his name, Sapien, something Sapien.
Yeah.
What's his name? Sapien.
Yeah,
something
you're
Sapien.
right.
Yeah, man, $19,000, man, he paid for that. And,
And they'll keep doing it. They'll keep having little things. Oh, I'll show all these flat earthers. I'm going to fly across, and they'll never have another video about it saying, hell, for some strange reason, the FAA wouldn't allow us to do that. It must be too cold, right?
Too cold, man.
So, the other guy we got to talk about is Kelsey, because Kelsey finally returned one of my, it took me forever to even reach him.
And who is Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm bringing up his little video here. So
you want to go. If you choose my airline to
stop talking. All right. So we'll bring that up real quick. So Kelsey is that pilot from I don't know what airlines or whatever, but he made this video saying that he's got a way to prove that the earth is round, and he's going to take this flight. And so a bunch of us reached out and said, let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's book it. Let's get the price so that I can do a GoFundMe and we can sell tickets. Maybe it's like, if you donate whatever you want, but if you donate over 2,500, you get a ticket on the flight. Donate over 4,000, you can have 2 tickets, that kind of thing. Because I'm guessing the flight would be $500,000. That's just a guess. I don't know, but we would get there eventually, I think. So he says things like this in his video.
Charter the 747 from. I will volunteer to.
So he says, if we
anywhere you want to go.
Wait, let's do that one more time. Anywhere you want to go. Listen carefully.
Make some profit on it. It doesn't really matter to me, but you can charter this aircraft and go anywhere you want to go. If you choose my airline to charter the 747
So he says, if you choose my airline to charter the 747 from,
volunteer to fly that aircraft, and we can all be Christopher Columbus for a few days. I've even come up with a basic flight plan of where to go so you can prove or disprove.
Okay, so we contacted him. We said, we want to change the destination because, number one, you said we can go anywhere we want to go, number one. So that means we can change the destination to wherever we want. So looking at what Banjo was talking about, I totally agreed. And I think we should also end up where we started, not fly out of Miami, come back to LA. So I told him, hey, I kept reaching out to him saying, get me a price for a flight, LA to Buenos Aires to Perth, Perth back to LA, a night at each location. And he kept not getting back to me. Finally, he got back to me, and his answer is like, oh, dude, I'm just a pilot and a YouTube guy. I'm not a booking agent. And I said, I'm not asking you to be a booking agent, dude. You said that your airline, if we chose your airline, you would be the pilot. Okay, number one, we accept. We'll choose your airline. Number two, you can be pilot. We accept. All right, so far we're doing really good, right? So the next step would be talk to your airline and get me a damn price, dude. He's like, well, you can just call different companies and figure out where you can go. No. We're choosing you. You said that you'll be pilot. And I'm like, now I think you realize that you've never flown over the Antarctica for a reason, because you can't.
Jaron,
So, go ahead.
This is what he's saying, that we can do this flight right here.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, let me bring that up. Hold on, because I've got this screen up. Yes. Don't screw up. There you go. Yeah, that's what he says.
There.
Yeah. So let's do it. We want to do it because that flight is about 7,500 miles or so. Should take about 14 hours or less. I mean, really, planes go, 550, 600 miles per hour. So it can even be quicker than that. And again, now he's like saying, oh, but no, you just need to go get some pricing and you need to, it's like, no, you said you'd be pilot and you said if we chose your company, but he won't even tell us who his company is. So this is the kind of thing, this is why I said, hold these people's feet to the fire. Don't let them get away with this nonsense because...
Yeah, but it's almost not worth it, Jaron, because it takes all your loosh or your good vibrational energy away.
I feel better. I have more vibrational energy.
I'm saying, really? Because I'm fighting with the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, that's a different story. That's a little different.
I know, but I'm fighting with this other representative of the Chiefs right now. I'm like, why am I even arguing with these people? Why am I giving them...
What do you got there, Dave?
It's like...
This is the actual 2 flight paths that they go. They go from... those are the stops, multiple stops.
Right.
And that's the way the flight goes, depending on the trade winds.
And there's no nonstop flights from Buenos Aires to no. Go ahead and look. You'll be looking for a long, long time. But he says we can just book this 747 and go anywhere we want to go. But of course, now that we go to him and say, all right, we're in, Mark Sargent's in, we're going to promote it. Here's the locations we want to do. Now all of a sudden he's got an issue. Now he doesn't want to talk.
Yeah, how stupid it is. It goes from Buenos Aires to Houston to Los Angeles. Sometimes it goes to Miami and then Los Angeles. So that's 2 stops. Sydney and then Perth.
Right.
And maybe they go back this way to Singapore.
I don't know, but that's a long ass trip too. That's like 2 days, But he also puts a white outline on him. So it's good that we held him to fire. I'm still, let me see if he answered. I don't think he answered me, but we were going back and forth on the Instagram, which I never even use, but trying to see, I don't know how you look up comments. He was commenting. Now I don't see anything.
As we can see, this is not the first time that there has been a crowd-funded event set up by global propagandists in an effort to prove their globe. And as we can see, both of these faked flights fell flat and did not do what they were set out to do. And the reason for that is because you simply cannot fly over Antarctica. And if you haven't seen it already, I did a very extensive debunk video on all north to south flight circumnavigations. And they were all debunked. They were all faked. They never actually fly over Antarctica. But now back to the topic at hand with the 24-hour sun. To make it very clear, neither the globe side or the flat side are debating on whether or not there's going to be 24 hours of daylight and civil twilight in Antarctica. Both sides agree that that is something we will observe. However, one side, the globe side, has a claim that we will see the sun circling above the horizon for a full 24 hours, whereas the flat Earth side is making a claim that we will not see the sun above the horizon for 24 hours, and we should actually see the sun setting and actually see the sun rising at some point throughout the day. So that is the what we're going down there to try to observe, is whether or not we see the same 24-hour sun phenomenon that is observed up at the North Pole and the Arctic, and to see if we observe that in the Antarctic. Now, with that being said, we should be able to just take somebody's word for it that's been down there during the summer. Now, recently, we have had 3 different people that have been stationed in Antarctica during the summer for many months at a time, who have all said that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica and that the sun actually sets every day during the summer. We have one person, a plumber that was working down there, stationed in Antarctica for 18 months, that said the sun sets during the summer, and there is no 24-hour sun there, so that the sun sets every day. And then we also had a former NASA employee stationed there for 6 months that said that the sun sets every day and there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica during the summer. And then we also have explorer Mike Horn that was in Antarctica for 3 months from December through February that also said that the sun sets every day during the summer in Antarctica. So we have quite a few people that have come out saying that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica during the summer. So let's go ahead and take a closer listen to what some of these people have to say.
The person we have here today on Mechanics of the Fourth Wall is Robert Shortman, who spent more than a whole year in one stay, in one visit in Antarctica. He was the heating engineer in Antarctica. He went there just before the summer, all through the summer, all through the whole year, all through the next summer, and then left afterwards. All of it in one stretch. So this person has been to Antarctica. This person knows what Antarctica feels like, looks like, what you can do in Antarctica, the things you have to be trained for in Antarctica, how you travel in Antarctica.
I think quite likely to do, because we may never get this opportunity. Let's face it, you might be assassinated tomorrow. Can you go through what you have, boiled down from your time in Antarctica?
The summer sunrise, sunset.
Yeah, the sunrise again. In the summertime, the sun is a lot higher, and then in the wintertime, it gets a lot lower. And obviously, it's the lowness that's giving it the appearance of darkness, kind of thing.
But if you would describe how the sun rises and sets, what the sun does in the
summertime, it does more of an arc, and in the wintertime, it's even flatter. So you'd be kind of doing something similar to that, and then obviously summertime's more that
up and down on the horizon. It's not going round and around above your head in circles.
No, I just sit and looked at it thinking, oh look, the sun's spiraling above my head or something like that. It did like a better 180 arc, not like a 360, so you see it move in and move out, so it wasn't just like straight across. But
the way the as it is map describes it, then
so if you're here and your 180 is, if the sun's coming around doing this, you're here. Yeah. From your point of view, it's going to look like 180. It's not going to be coming up here, but we have our perspective. You're here, you're going to see it come and go. The cell Earth says that it goes round like you see in the video footage, and it's just light bending. So unfortunately, it kind of kills the cell Earth. Apologies, Stephen Christ. Maybe you can lift your curse now. So we have it from somebody who's been to Antarctica. It does not go around. It wasn't a case that it kind of went around and then it went beyond some mountains and then it came. No, it doesn't go around. It comes from one point in the horizon. It appears above the horizon, goes across the sky, goes back down beyond the horizon.
Before we...
Jen, are you going to go with us next December? We're manifesting it in the ether. We're going next December, their summer, and you want to host a bet if we see the 24-hour sun. By the way, bro, we have a former NASA employee that was stationed in Antarctica for 6 consecutive months when they should have 24-hour sun. He said you never see the sun for 24 hours, never. That does not happen. And now he's a flat earther. Former NASA employee was stationed in Antarctica. So we're going to try to go, but the point is there is hundreds of videos of that in the north, right? That like everyone has them, but there's none in the south. There's thousands of times people have circumnavigated east to west around the earth. I mean, they do it every day. No one's ever done it north to south. I mean, these would be major coincidences, right? That just so happens what could prove a globe don't exist. Or like you may have blew a lid on a major deception, though, like just in theory, right? Like they were planning on. I don't know. Now they got to do something. I've heard like a NASA former guy from NASA stationed there for 6 months said you never see the sun for 24 hours in 6 months of their summer. And so, and then obviously, you know what the Globers say? They just claim he doesn't exist and he's lying. And it's like, whatever. I mean, if we would get pretty lucky if that guy was there for 6 months and didn't see it, but we'll see.
It's unavoidable to occasionally mention it, but I know a former NASA employee. Actually, he was even stationed in Antarctica. He's a flat earther, and he's coming on my show soon, so I won't reveal too much. But you know, it's a misconception that people at NASA either know that the Earth is flying through space and space travel is real, or they're lying. That isn't how it works. They just do their job. They do their job. It's called compartmentalization. It would be very, very ineffective if they didn't do that. So, just so you know, I know multiple NASA employees that are flat earthers. So you put that together for me. All right. So
I also came across a very interesting interview with world famous explorer Mike Horn in a news article. For those of you not familiar, Mike Horn made a Antarctica expedition back in 2017. I actually did another debunk video on his expedition, but we're not going to get into the expedition so much. More want to focus on this article that was written about an interview with him. And in this article, he basically says that the sun sets every day in Antarctica. Now, to give you more context, this expedition took place between the middle of December 2016 to the beginning of February of 2017. So these are the 3 peak months of the summer solstice when you would have to see the 24-hour sun. So he makes this comment in this interview and about the sun setting every day. So let's take a closer look at this interview article here. This is the article I came across on the Mike Horn expedition from Neuroplex.com. Kind of details the Mike Horn expedition 2017. That again was from December 13th, 2016 to February 7th of 2017. And those are the 3 main months of the summer solstice in Antarctica. So this would be the 3 peak months when you would have to see a 24-hour sun above the horizon. And he's actually snow kiting from all different latitudes, from the 70th, the 80th, and obviously the South Pole, so the 90th degree latitude. So I mean, he's covering all different areas of Antarctica on this expedition for 57 days. And so if the 24-hour sun existed in Antarctica, he would objectively have to see it, right? So in this interview that they did on him, he says a comment here that I don't think he was supposed to say. I think it kind of accidentally slipped out. But he says, he also reported that the sun set at night, which made for cold tent temperatures this late in the season. So he is telling you that the sun is setting at night, every night, while he's on this expedition, which is during the summer of Antarctica. So for 2 months, the sun is setting every night during the summer in Antarctica. Now, I have had some people come out and say that they think he's lying. That think he's part of some kind of agenda to push flat Earth, and which is just, to me, is just completely asinine and makes absolutely no sense. I mean, this was like 7-8 years ago. I don't think he would have really had much reason to lie about this. It seems like he was on an expedition. He's an explorer. That's what he does. And he just kind of says how it is. He's like, I seen the sun setting at night every night while I was on my expedition during the summer. So, and it's not just him. This is 3 different people now. There's multiple people that were stationed in Antarctica for many consecutive months during the summer. And they're all 3 of these people are all saying that, the sun is setting at night every night in Antarctica. So it's just, more proof that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica during the summer. With all of this, fakery and deception that, we've observed today that's been going on in Antarctica for years, with the faking of the 24-hour sun videos and the editing and cutting of these webcam footages at the South Pole, and like literally every day of the year, and just all the different fakery that they do to hide the fact the sun sets every day in Antarctica during the summer. I think that we should be going down there and observing the sun setting. And we should just kind of, put this whole thing to bed. And, I've noticed with like this final experiment that there's been like two sides to it. There's one side that thinks that we shouldn't send two people down there, and it's a safety risk, and it could be a trap. The whole thing is suspicious. Um, they could be faking it, and like I get it, like I get where they're coming from. And there's also the other side that thinks like, hey, we got tons of evidence that you know there is no 24-hour sundown. We got several people that are stationed down there that says there's no 24-hour sun, and the sun sets every day during the summer, and we should be going down there and documenting this. And I'm kind of in that boat. I think that, for one, I think that even if they were trying to fake it, they wouldn't really be able to, because they're going to have so many different cameras down there. They're going to have infrared cameras. They're going to have cameras on drones. They're going to have camera experts that are literally going to be covering this thing from every angle. And if you're actually like looking for fakery, you're going to find it, and I think it's just something that they wouldn't even be able to fake even if they wanted to. They just would have too many eyes on the sky that would easily point it out. So I don't think, I'm not really buying the fake thing. Now, with that being said, I think that they could put a lot of cloud covering down there. And I think they could really murky up the skies with a lot of clouds to where we get down there and the skies are just overcast and cloudy the whole time for 3 days, and you can't really even see the sun, and which would be, wouldn't really be a win for either side, but it would just it would probably discourage people from ever trying to go down there and record it again. So I think, with them knowing about this in advance, months in advance, that could kind of be the plan. Like they can't really fake it, but they could continue to hide it. So there is a very high chance of that being the case. So I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing was canceled at the last second, and they have issues with, trying to cover it up, or trying to hide the sun settings, or like, all right, let's just cancel this whole trip at the last second. That would not surprise me at all. Just like they did with the Greater Sapien and the Glober pilot Kelsey when they canceled at the last second. But I think that we should be going down there, and we should just, based off of all these other people that have been coming out recently, these whistleblowers that have been saying that the sun sets every day in Antarctica during the summer, I think, that's just more proof that there is no 24-hour sun. And I think that this could be the very, final disclosure of flat Earth, where we're giving them all this evidence and nobody's really buying it. So I think this would be the best way to go down there and say, hey, look, there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And I think that would finally put this whole globe versus flat Earth debate finally to rest.